Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to make a start on my monster arcade building, a huge great big edifice that will be big enough to contain absolutely all of my wonderful arcade machine collection. Yeah, there's quite a few, isn't there? Well, this new arcade building is to replace the old one from the old city, which was absolutely lovely with its 3D Space Invader sign and all of its MOC designed machines on the inside there. 6 different ones with a pinball wizard and a few lovely scenes going on the outside. But yeah, this building just isn't anywhere near big enough for all of the, well, combination of official builds and other MOC machines that I've made since then. I need a way to display this, well, kind of out of hand collection. I mean, there was one set, that Robot World one recently, the 60421, which gave us 4 machines, well, 5 really, if you include the drinks machine, all on its own. This lovely Ultra Agents Chase one, the current favourite of mine, this sort of Space Invaders-esque one from the Alien Conquest. We had another dance machine. I've got 3 of those now in this one. And that actually had 2 gamers in it, kind of playing on a game system. But I transferred the stickers onto different pieces and basically made my own kind of dual player beat 'em up kind of game where you've got some Galador characters attacking each other. Yeah, and there is that slushy machine as well, all from that set. But I've got loads more from Legend Ninjago sets, Simpsons sets. This tile was from a Sonic the Hedgehog set with a sort of Tetris-esque sort of blob game. The Ghostbusters Firehouse and so on. We've got movable ones with a drivable racing car. I think that one's from Monkey Kid, the Cloud Racer. We've got another one from Ninjago where you can beat up the monster by moving the joystick and the ninja starts attacking, which is fantastic. I've just augmented that with some dots and so on. And here's another one that I did myself, which was another 2-player one in this lovely combo of medium azure and orange, which uses a sticker sheet from the recent gaming tournament truck 60388, which I've got in its full sort of guise to go in my city. But I thought, having a parallel game in the arcade made a lot of sense, and I just think that looks beautiful, don't you? And look, there's some more dots with player 1 and player 2 written on them, so they look absolutely great if you ask me. And my collection is kind of ever expanding as well, because I mean, there's going to be some more machines coming up in sets like 42674, the Friends comic book and game shop store from 2025 this year. So yeah, I don't know if that's out or not yet. I'm probably just interested in the sticker sheet for the robot themed beat 'em up game, which looks absolutely awesome. So yeah, I need a way to display all of these in my city, and most importantly, I want them visible. I don't want them buried inside some dark modular building. That might look good from the outside, but then we won't see all of these beautiful colors and so on, and that's what I'm really interested in. So I got thinking, and when the big Pac-Man arcade machine set came out, I really considered getting it for 3 reasons, really. One, for the awesome Pac-Man original arcade machine, which I've managed to piece together, again, by getting just a sticker sheet on Bricklink. So that is really good. So I've got that. That one's brilliant. Then the second reason was for the cool minifigure with the ghosty torso, which looks absolutely awesome. I haven't got that because it's worth a fortune in the secondary market, it seems. So yeah, probably will never get that. But thirdly, for the large game cabinet itself, because I thought I could convert that great big set, 10323, into a building and basically have the kind of maze of the Pac-Man game itself as kind of a back wall, and then maybe convert the lower section with the joystick on and so on to have a doorway in and kind of a shop front and all the rest of it, and then have all of these games sort of stacked on floors kind of in front of that background wall. I really like the fact that that set doesn't have any glass blocking our view of the game. Like, they could have done it with loads of 1x6x5 clear panels, creating a great big reflective surface that we wouldn't be able to sort of see through and have all the interrupting lines of the pieces joined together. But they didn't do that, just had it open to the elements, which I quite like. I think I'm going to keep that idea, whatever I do. I also really like the big 3D sign on the top with the Pac-Man and the ghosties chasing him and so on. So yeah, I thought it could look really iconic with that screen maze, as the background, rejigged all to make it look absolutely amazing. However, I thought I would look a bit wider to see if there's something a bit more appropriate, because I think there's a danger that, well, it wouldn't look much like an arcade machine by the time I'd finished it. And then people would be like, why's that building got a joystick on it and things like that? So I got looking at other 8-bit games from the 80s, because that's kind of the theme that I was trying to go with of this building. And use one of them as the theme for my open glass fronted arcade facade. I think this is going to be so big with so many different levels on and so many different machines that we want to be able to see, like I said earlier, that it'll have to be a facade. Kind of like a display case, I guess, but decorated and looking absolutely amazing. I think that like all my facades, will sort of suggest that the building is much bigger and goes on into the background, but the wall of the Lego room has just chopped off a slice, so we're just looking at one side of what might be a huge sort of cube of a building. So that will be absolutely awesome. So that was my thinking. And looking at more of the games that could be used in this scenario, I decided that a platform game would make much more sense than kind of one with a maze as the backdrop, because if it was a platform game, it wouldn't just have to be a sort of flat background. It could actually jut out physically, and all of the platforms in that kind of facade of a platform game would be the platforms that these machines were actually sat on, and all the people playing them would be standing on as well. So essentially, it'd be floor after floor after floor of these in a display case, but each of those floors would be part of that great big platform game. Haha! So I'm onto a really good plan here. And the game that I chose was, well, arguably after Pac-Man, the most iconic of all time. Dun dun dun! Donkey Kong. Oh yes, what an icon that game is. Instantly recognisable and perfect for my needs. So I may not need to add the barrel of burning oil at the bottom, but I do want to have a great big Donkey Kong at the top, that's for sure. All done in 8-bit graphics, kind of built into the background probably. Red sloped kind of girder-like floors going down, one after the others for the barrels to roll down all the way to the bottom. Blue floors on top of those, I think that was the colour scheme. And then barrels are also built into that background that Donkey Kong's been throwing down those ramps all the way to the bottom to get Mario. And then, of course, we'll need to add those really iconic blue ladders as decor, so Mario could get from one floor to the other. I don't think the minifigures playing all of these games would use those ladders to get from one floor to the other, but it really adds to the look and is absolutely essential. Now, I did consider adding an actual Donkey Kong kind of 3D figure from some of the recent Donkey Kong Lego sets, but that's really not the vibe I'm after. I kind of want 8-bit sort of theme to this. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm also not going to add like a score, the princess that Mario is trying to rescue, the barrel supply and everything else, because I need all of that space, every square inch for all of these machines, because just to fit all these in and these, and the fact that I can make a load more, because I've got loads of screens left over. I've got this really cool racing screen, got kind of a maze one there. What's that? It's kind of an asteroids type game there from sets. There's a really cool, this one, Space Invaders type screen. So yeah, there's more arcades to come essentially. So to have room for all of that, I need every square inch possible. So yeah, I've witted long enough, but basically we're trying to make a massive kind of national arcade museum type building. Or something like that, a huge cube that we're only seeing one side of, a really great big square building with all of the machines visible on each of its 4 sides. And maybe the other 3 sides are things like Pac-Man, that's another iconic game of the era, of course. Other ones could be Space Invaders, that could be the 3rd side of that great big building, and maybe, I don't know, asteroids being the 4th side as well. But what we can see is that main Donkey Kong side, which will be absolutely awesome. So yeah, what a place to visit that will be. So let's start right at the bottom with some plates for the ground. Good. Well, in order to fit in all of these machines, the ones from the old arcade and a few more that I don't yet have, it's going to have to be a very large building indeed. So this is 44 studs wide and is going to be soon well out of shot because it's going to be ridiculously tall as well. I don't know how many stories in Lego terms, but quite a few. So this platform is sort of made in a strong way so I can move the whole thing around on its own. under its own steam and sort of position it, because where it's going to go in the Lego room is obviously against the wall as a facade, of course, which means there's going to be a train line right in front of it as well. So I imagine the main entrance to this building would be on its side somewhere in the bit that we can't see. So we're just seeing basically a side wall of that building. So in order to do this, I had to get pretty much the world's supply of this piece, which isn't as easy to get hold of as you might think, in red, obviously, for that iconic girder type platforms. Yes, I had to get loads of these because I need 3 of them, 1, 2, 3 for each floor, 1 at the bottom, and then all of these slanted ones going all the way up for the barrels to roll down. So essentially, I'm going to use some studs on the side to mount these as that first layer. And I appreciate this is probably going to be completely invisible, especially when trains are going by, but yeah, with other buildings in front of these. So essentially, it might be in due course that I raise this up and put a few more sort of bricks in this sandwich just to raise up the whole thing by a little bit more. So yeah, if I get the spacing exactly right, I can get 3 of those girder pieces, 2 by 2 by 10, horizontally to make that first sort of cross section. And oh, look at that. It looks absolutely great, doesn't it? So I can put a corner post in each of the corners there. A great big back wall for there. Oh, all in nice red. And then I thought I'd continue the girder sort of look on the sides. And I've got 2 contenders really. I can use these fence pieces, but I kind of figure they look a bit Ninjago-y. And I will be doing some Ninjago stuff in the future. So I might keep those and use probably the less appropriate, but more available red fences of this style. So I'll put those in there. And then we can mount that first blue floor. But before I do, this bit can kind of move in and out a bit. So I'm just going to put a black panel behind each of these sort of junctions. And that way, it should bend a lot less. Look at that, a lot stronger. There we go. So blue floor in next. And then we can start the build itself on top of this structure. There we go. All the way along there. Luckily, I had all of these to do my C area, which means I probably need some more in order to redo my C area, but nonetheless. So there is our first cross section of our game screen with that lovely girder, blue thing for all of our games to be on, and then we can start building up the sides. Very cool. All right, so the backdrop of this building has to represent the screen of the Donkey Kong game, so it has to be in black, like all 8-bit games backgrounds. So I'm going to be using black bricks and black panels to save on those bricks. So here's a 1 by 6 by 5 one, and I'm going to continue on this first row by using this more latticey, more interesting black 1 by 6 by 5 panel that also isn't that easy to get hold of in great numbers, so I've pretty much bought the world supply of those as well, or at least the UK's supply, but that'll make it look kind of industrially and keep in the theme of these girders and so on, very Donkey Kong-esque, so I like that as well. And rather than add a 5th one here and make it symmetrical, I thought I'd add my first 8-bit barrel thrown by the 8-bit Donkey Kong to try and get Mario. So basically that's a pixelized version of a barrel that uses kind of some orange pixels rotating round and round to signify the motion of what otherwise is kind of a static sprite, I suppose. So essentially, I'm just going to continue using loads of little plates and so on to build up kind of a facsimile of that original 8-bit barrel, using lots of tiny pieces that basically are hard to accumulate all together in huge, huge numbers. And essentially, this 1 by 6 by 5 panel will end up looking like this. An 8-bit barrel rolling down the course to try and knock Mario out and make you lose a life. But that is very faithful to the original game, and that can go in there. Very good. So that'll be kind of going that way, having just dropped off the ramp above. And I've got 2 more of these built that I can have higher up on that backdrop to represent more barrels rolling down. And the good thing about doing them in this way is, well, I don't have to do a great big 3D thing that's going to take up arcade space. We've still got loads of space for arcades, and they can even go, well, overlapping that. We don't want to completely cover it, otherwise we'll never see it again. But that looks all right to me. Then the next level up, I'm just doing in panels rather than the girder ones, because essentially our first floor is going to come about here and it would be interrupted. So that is just going to go like that. Have I done this right? No, I think it's more like that. Yes, that looks better. There we go. So there's our next floor. And then I can start to bring in wall sections. So this one on the left is just a blank wall really, but we do have our first Technic hole up here for a connection point for that floor, because we do want them slanting like in the original games. Otherwise, how would the barrels roll down them, of course? And I've also got some holes on the outside and some bricks sticking out on the outside for some future decor. We'll be doing that right at the end to really decorate these side panels and make them even more arcadey, essentially. So that one can go on that side. I'm a bit of trouble pushing that down. There we go. And this side has got a door built into it. Now this door is basically coming from the main body of the building to this facade. So I reckon there's probably a central core with a nice sort of atrium, and that's got places to eat and relax and all the rest. And then when you want to go and play the games, you just pick one of these sort of four sides of the building and come through one of these doors. So there'll be one on every floor. Otherwise, you'd have to use the Mario ladders. And that gives you access to this little sub-arcade of games. So that one will go on to here as well. And we've got more holes and more bricks here for our external decor, and we've got another Technic hole there. So I forget the number of studs between here and here, but you can see we've gone down one brick height for all that distance, with this one being on the second highest run of bricks and this one being on the highest there. And the last thing to mention on this is you'll see that there's a slope on this wall, just to bring it in just one stud. And there again, and it'll come back out again for its full width. It's just a little cutout, because when we've got trains running right along here, essentially the odd bit might clip on this and knock it and be annoying. So essentially I'm going to have a little cutout here, just so when a train runs by, if something's sticking out from it or it's tipping over with speed or something like that, that it won't make contact. So there we go. I love that barrel. You can just imagine that flaming and rolling its way down for Mario to over it and then climb up the ladder. Well, for those of you interested, the distance between the two Technic holes is 32 studs horizontally and obviously one brick height vertically, and that means that the diagonal will be 33 studs, or virtually identically that anyway. If you want to calculate the maths, tell me how close it is. But we'll continue with a similar sort of setup as before, but now with kind of the mirror image going on, because obviously they alternate in how they angle down each time, each of the platforms. And it does mean that the arcades will actually be mounted on a slight slope, so you won't be playing it completely horizontally, you'll be at a slight angle, but I figure that's okay. Minifigures can handle that. Anyway, there is another barrel, and this time it's got the mirror image as well, so it's just going the other direction. And to do the to give it some texture in a way, I've added a stud coming out here. So that's basically a headlight brick on its side, which is exactly 2 studs tall when used in that way. So it just makes it look a little bit more 3D, kind of like the idea of that, rather than it all just being 1x1 plates. So that looks very colourful and cool already. Then I can add on the side here, which has got the first Technic hole. Can you see it? There we go. For the next floor, and some more on the outside in all sorts of different places. For the decor on the outside. You should put some guesses in the comment section for that, I think. So that'll be a door in for that platform, and then that's the beginning of the platform above. And then on this side, we can do the exact same thing over here as well. And that looks absolutely grand. Then because we'll be having a floor there, we're just going to fill in the backdrop of this one with those regular panels again. And goodness, now I'm going to have to film this when it gets even taller, because we're going up, up, up and away. I think we're going to have at least double this height, if not more, for the rest of it. But next, I think we should do one of the platforms, don't you? And then we can start to see how it's going to look, rather than just looking at an expanding black surface. Oh, I always get really excited at this type of time in the build, because everything that I designed digitally, I'm actually seeing for the first time in real life, and even these barrels look absolutely awesome. I'm loving how it's turning out with these lovely red girder pieces as well, of which I need 3 for each of our sloping floors, and this one I'll be doing one that starts higher on the right and lower on the left, and for each of the ends I need a 2x6 plate, onto which I'll put some brackets. This end has these sort of downy brackets, and the other one will have some uppy brackets. to use their technical names, and a 1x6 to level it off, and a nice 2x6 tile to make it nice and smooth. So that can go on that end. Very nice. And then a similar but opposite number with one 2x2 plate as well to get the spacing exactly perfect can go onto that end. Very nice indeed. Then onto the ends here, just to make them a little bit longer so it goes up to the edge of that tile as well. I'm using these 1x2 modified plates with the slide on. So just to do the ends there. 1, 2, 3. So this platform is 6 wide. The building's 8 deep, but we're using one with a wall, so they'll just be sort of inset that one stud extra. But there you go. We've got the floor back in position, and then I want that in the middle, don't I? So I can do that and that on the ends, and then I've got some more plates to go in the middle. So this is where I'm going to use some Technic bricks, because obviously the backside won't be anywhere near as visible. So essentially I can use much more ugly bricks. No point getting more of those red girder pieces, which are quite hard to come by when you don't need to. So essentially that will tie all of this together, and it doesn't really matter what combo you use, but here I've got 3 12s and a 4, I think, or 3 10s and a 4. Yeah, 3 10s and a 4. And I'm going to do, for strength, 2 rows of that, one right behind the girders and one on the back wall, and it's the back wall one that will be connecting with the Technic pins in the cabinet or the building. So there we go, they are all in, and that should be nice and strong now. Very good. So this one will be sloping like that, with that end for the barrels to kind of roll off. So what do we need on the very end? Yes, another hard to find piece. This lovely ladder down for Mario to climb up. It'll be going off at a slightly jaunty angle because of the angle this will be going down, but there is one of our slopes. So that effectively fits onto, shall I try and do that now? Now that's a much nicer angle for showing you what I'm doing. So here's the one we just built with the medium blue ladder on the left, going down that way. And here is another one that I built earlier with the ladder on the right, which will go the other direction. So basically I've just got to locate this onto these pins, which is probably easier said than done. I can kind of feel that's nearby, but does it want to go on? Not really. Come on, there we go. Whoop, it's gone on there. And then this side, probably going to be even harder. Oh, there we go. So there is, our first angled wow, girder platform. That looks absolutely amazing. And look at the spacing of that barrel rolling down it. Absolutely perfect. The only downside of this is it's probably a bit wibbly, so I have to be careful pushing the machines on. And secondly, well, the machines will be at a slight angle, won't they? So the person playing at them will be sort of leaning, and when he gets home, he'll realise that one of his hips is higher than the other or something like that. But that's not to be avoided, unfortunately. But that looks absolutely great. So let's see if we can get the second one in. That's probably going to be even harder to locate. Let's see if I can do that over there. Oh, that went straight on, actually. Oh, wow, I've just absolutely nailed that one. There we go, that's in position with the ladder down. And as I said before, I think the ladder, look at that. That looks absolutely amazing. I think the ladder is just for decor rather than actually not using these doors to get from floor to floor, but just coming around here and coming up. Though I suppose they could, technically, if you wanted them to in World. So yeah, but that looks great. It does look very much like the original arcade already. And yeah, I mean, you can tell that's Donkey Kong, can't you, right now, before we even add a huge 8-bit DK himself. So yeah, that is very, very cool and very bright as well. Absolutely love that. And you haven't even seen yet what we're going to be adding on the side. So yeah, that'll brighten it up even more. Wow, love it. Oh, another course of bricks added, and it looks even better. I'm loving how this is turning out. Imagine how good it's going to look with all of the arcade machines on all of these floors. Just looks absolutely awesome. You can imagine Mario in the original game running along each of these platforms, bounding over the barrels and going up the ladders all the way to the top to save the princess. Absolutely fabulous. So what are we going to do next after this course that's mirroring the floor below it, and well, pretty much the same as the one on the bottom, with another barrel, of course, rolling down that slope. Above that, we're going to do Donkey Kong himself. I'm going to add 2 more floors like this, and essentially they'll be in front of him a bit. I mean, in the original game, he was sat on the very top, but I think it's going to be so big, this image of Donkey Kong, that essentially it's going to spill over to fill, well, the entire backdrop, essentially. And I'm going to keep that deliberately really blocky to be faithful to the original 8-bit games. And I'm also going to limit the palette of the colours that I'm using to this tan, orange and red combo, because also those games really didn't have many colours to choose from. So although it'd be more accurate if I used loads of fancy modern pieces, wedge plates and so on, and used loads of different colours to try to transition and make a really, really accurate mosaic, I don't want to do that. I want to have it looking really chunky and 8-bit, as I keep saying. So yeah, that'll tie him in with these barrels as well. So rather than try and build a complicated mosaic on the top of a great big wobbly tower, I think I'm going to start again on the building desk at the bottom, and then I can combine the 2 halves together to make the beast. Well, this is fiddly and quite time consuming, I must say, but yeah, it's starting to come together. So that, believe it or not, is one of Donkey Kong's little feet, and that's his leg diagonally going up there to his tummy, and the beginning of a foot there. So yeah, it's just piecing it together row at a time, and each one of these pixels is basically 2 1x1 plates, or where I can, I'm using bricks to bridge bigger gaps, but essentially it is absolutely faithful to the original Nintendo game. So yeah, it is a bit funny in places, looks a bit odd, but I think it looked really good from a distance, which is largely where we'll be seeing it from. And I've just got a cutout here for the door on the next level, because yeah, that's going to be on the left, and there is one of the Technic pins, and there's one of the others for the next downward to the right sloping floors. So he'll be standing on that one, and then the last and fourth and last floor will be kind of right across his midsection. So hopefully that won't look too bad, and of course there'll be machines blocking some of this as well, but yeah, it'll be a nice backdrop that hopefully you can still see enough of. So yeah, cool. I need to push on and add ever more pixels. Well, you can start to see them coming together now. It's taking an absolute age. I'm kind of bored. I think I need a break now. I need to push on and get this thing finished. But yeah, we're still only up to his waist. Yeah, it's kind of time-consuming working out how best to tessellate the pieces as well. But I'll have to push on because there's a lot of monkey left to do. So yeah, we've got the door in now, and there's the first pin of that last floor. That'll be going in, and I've got many more bricks to consider on the outside as well to attach my decoration for the sides onto in due course. So yeah, that is interesting and something to remember as well. So yeah, lots to think about as I continue pushing this on. But yeah, first of all, I think I'm going to have a cup of tea. Houston, we have a monkey. There he is. At least the coloured part of him anyway. Oh, there's nice white eyes, so they stand out a bit more. And he's got a bit of a, I don't know, weird expression, but it is true to the original graphics. So yeah, I like that. It's got the shading of his arms sort of coming down for throwing barrels at Mario. Yeah, he's looking really cool actually, isn't he? Still got a lot of black to do to fill in all of the rest of the sort of gaps around the sides. But yeah, that is the most complicated bit done that I have to keep referring back to source material again and again for. And there's that pin for the last floor and that last door as well. So yeah, he's going to have a floor going right across his chest there, but you'll be able to see his face uninterrupted. And I thought it was better to do a big one rather than just have a little one kind of perched up to one side, flinging barrels. I thought it'd be much better to have a great big huge one, kind of like the Mario mural that I've got in the old city that I'll be transferring to the new one in some sort of position, not on the sides of this or anything, but somewhere else. But yeah, it'll just stand out and look really, really good, I think. So yeah, very happy with that. Still got plenty of work to do doing the black, but I shall push on even more. Maybe I do need more tea now. Yay, finished. Oh, wow. I don't want to do another mosaic for quite a long time now. Thank you very much. I've done a few in my time, like the big robin face sort of mosaic of things. And yeah, after a while, your thumbs just get a bit sore and yeah, you're not really enjoying it. But it's done now, so I can enjoy the results. And I think it looks absolutely awesome. He looks very mean indeed. Very fun as well. And the only variation I really need to tell you about is I've added some studs on the side bricks up here. And that's just because a couple of the games in that Robot World set came with lovely large stickers for screens of what's going on, so other people can see what the gamers are up to and how well they're doing. And I just thought it was a shame to not use those stickers. So I thought if I put one sort of up there and the other one for that sort of Galador themed game up there, then essentially I could have those games sort of in an equivalent position, sort of left and right, top level. So, you know, they're tied in. And I thought that might add a little bit of interest to these black spaces in the corner. And does the door still open? Yes, it does. So, yeah, that'd be quite good. Now, you see I've put in one more of the floors. So that will be sort of going down into the section we already did. And then I've got one more floor, which will basically, I'm not going to try and put it on now because it will be fiddly, going like that, which will be right across his chest, as I said earlier, and tying in with the bottom of that door. So that'll look really good in a minute. And then I've also got to add the roof, which is just the beginning of a much bigger roof, it being a facade, but essentially it's made out of these lovely 8x6 slopes in red, and a few vent pieces. I say a few, very, very few of these little sort of vent pieces on slopes as well. So yeah, that essentially will go on the top roughly like that. I'm not going to push it down. Can you see that? No, you can't. So it'll be like that. And then we can add the two whole halves together for the end shot, which should be absolutely great. Well, there you can see it looking really good. Hold on, let me just hold that in position temporarily. There is the top half of the arcade. Wow, very cool indeed. So you see what I was going for now. It's sort of silly. It doesn't have any glass on the front, but that was deliberate because I want us to be able to see all those games. And, you know, a building like this probably wouldn't exist in real life. It'd be a bit of a health and safety nightmare, and we'd have the health and safety police all over us. But as a result of it being only Lego, I don't really mind. And you can see we've got even more of these connection pieces that are no doubt making you wonder what's going to go on the outside next time, because I think we are going to have to continue this build in a part 2, especially putting all of those lovely machines on the inside. But wow, what progress we've made in part 1. Cool. Well, I'm going to put this on there, put this on there, and join the two halves together, and then we can do our final view. Oh, look at that face. Isn't he a cutie? Wow. I'm keeping on panning back, and oh, it's still not all in shot. Oh, there it is. That's the whole thing. It's absolutely massive. Wow. The only way of fitting all of this in is with shaky hands cam, and it is a beast, isn't it? I mean, if this is just a facade against the wall, imagine how big the entire building is when it's got all 4 sides on. And wow, thousands and thousands of arcade machines, presumably. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors of blue plates to fill next time. And oh, I love all those red girders. They look absolutely amazing, don't they? And you can imagine those barrels being flung down by this chap. And those 2 screens and the doors in at every level. And probably my favourite little bit is these blue ladders. Getting them in that colour was quite hard, but well worth the effort because it is absolutely perfect with them. So true to the real original game. Yeah, that looks absolutely amazing. And you can imagine those barrels being flung down. I was mildly concerned when I was designing this that they wouldn't look like barrels and they wouldn't look like anything. And you'd kind of be like, why are those 3 spots down there? Or is the monkey doing a bit of a poop? That's kind of a bit what it looks like now. Now I think about it, I only just thought of that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Now people will only be able to see that. But yeah, I still think it looks absolutely great. He is great fun, isn't he? Miles better to do a big one rather than a small little monkey in the top corner. Yeah, I think you'll agree. Yeah, that looks absolutely great. And I still think I might need to raise up that bottom section, maybe just do a couple of courses of, 2 by whatever bricks, just to give it a bit more height, because we will have trains running right along the front there. And you can see if I just turn this sideways, that sort of cutaway that sort of comes in and then goes back out again here. And all of these Technic holes and bricks for part 2, where we're going to be decorating the sides as well as populating all of the insides with all of the machines. And yeah, we'll leave some space for expansion room as well. But I think it's going to be absolutely full to the gills, really packed and stacked, as we like everything in our city to be. So that is absolutely lovely. But for now, you'll have to tell me what you think of this lovely Donkey Kong themed building. I think it looks absolutely great, partially because it passes the smile test. If you look at something that you've built and it makes you smile, then it's a winner. And that is definitely the case here. Those blue ladders really do pop. They are perfect. Love, love, love. But do tell me what you think in the comment section below. I'd really love to hear. Well, that may have taken absolutely ages to do, especially the mosaic at the top, but I think the result is way worth it. And now we've got a very suitable location to store all of our arcade machines in that wonderful collection, and really show them off as well. Because I think one of the anticipated criticisms of this is that it's kind of an open-faced building that doesn't have the glass on, but I think we can imagine that there's glass on the front, and it's a great big sort of greenhouse, sort of atrium type building. But putting on loads and loads of panels not only would cost a fortune, but I think would really, really obscure our view. So I like it the way it is, even though it wouldn't exist like this in the real world by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, he's such a cutie. I absolutely love that. So I'm looking forward to finishing this next time and putting it in the city, in a holding position probably for now, because I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it. It has to be visible if we're going to see all those lovely machines, and if we get loads of gamers playing them as well, it should be absolutely amazing. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos, including the second part of this build. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. Next Wednesday, we're doing a brick haul, as per usual, on our sister channel. And next week, well, it has to be the second part of this. I'm sure you wouldn't want me to leave this undone. So until then, see you! You know, with hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned those barrels looking a bit like monkey poo.